Welcome to this episode of Entrepreneur Showcase Series, brought to you by Patranya Media LLC and Parkway Media Partners. I'm your host, Patranya Poonswan, and today we have in our studio a very special guest. Her name is Mandy Yip. She is an entrepreneur, small business owner. She runs actually not just one business, but two businesses right here in Las Vegas. Mandy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's so great to have you, and I'm so inspired. I love that this is a great way to end 2023 to talk to another female business owner, which I love and admire, but just to run two businesses at the same time, and ones that are completely different as well. So we're going to all get into that, but definitely going to be an inspiring episode right here. So Mandy, so tell me a little bit about you. So you are, as I'm looking at what you're wearing, is your scrubs, right?
Yes.
So you're in the dental field, and you own your own dental clinic right here in Las Vegas.
Yes. I actually, I am a dentist, and I moved here to Las Vegas in 2018 to actually have a work opportunity to work with a colleague. And then I opened up my own practice, my own dental practice, December 2020.
2020,
right
wow.
at the end of the pandemic.
Wow.
Middle of it, I think.
Yeah. So you were working at another dental clinic at the time with
Yes.
your colleague. And then what made you decide, especially during those crazy times, or was it right before that you decided you wanted to open your own clinic?
I think it was timing. I think a lot of the rent and commercial spaces were going down. So we decided, okay, this is a good time, even though maybe things look like it's a struggle or a little bit unknown. But I was also ready to really just spread my own wings. I had enough training and I had enough patience. And they were like, you got to get out of here and start your own place.
Just everything kind of came together at the time. So we have some pictures here from your dental clinic. So the place is called Horizon Ridge Modern Dentistry. And this is right off Horizon Ridge, right in Eastern.
Yes,
near
Horizon
Henderson.
Ridge and Eastern, right next to Seafood City in Daiso, right to the left.
Yeah, and that's a busy area. You're getting a lot of people to go there. So what, when you started it, and this was right during the pandemic, I mean, for any business, but especially dental, which you have to get up close and personal. So
Yes.
how did you kind of get through that hump? A lot of people had to pivot and do different things. But what about a dental clinic? What did you have to do?
Well, definitely we had to alter how we were treating patients. We had to really determine what things were vital at the time, what things could wait, because we had a lot of stipulations on what treatments we could perform that would potentially spread and make the pandemic worse.
Yeah.
So definitely we weren't able to take as much business, definitely, because we couldn't do as many treatments, but we wanted to make sure that the hospitals were not getting too full with emergencies that were not actually related to COVID. So definitely we were doing a lot more emergency dentistry.
Yeah, which people needed at the time,
Yes.
right? And I mean, how hard it was, because when you started, was it smaller in staff than you are now, and you just had to keep growing?
Most definitely. It was only my lead dental assistant and my manager at the time. So I had no hygienist, so I had to do everything but I do remember when we first opened, I was just sitting there and I was like, we should go to Trader Joe's and pick up something to eat, I guess.
Which is right next door, so it's almost
Yep.
good, so you made it work, right?
Yes.
And, it's so tough because I've known, I've interviewed health professionals, doctors, dentists, and other things in here, but to be an entrepreneur is something completely different too. So when you went to dental school, did you even
Yes.
think that you would one day open your clinic? Was that at the back of your mind?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you had to think about entrepreneurship at the same time of thinking about patient care and things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
However, I don't think that at the time I knew what that looked like, but I definitely knew that I wanted to own my own practice and run my own clinic and, run a team, because I was a dental assistant for many years before I actually became a dentist. So I really knew how it felt to run a team. But at the same time, I wanted to have that leadership position and own my own business and explore that option for myself.
But that was good experience for you to be in that team environment, because then you know what it takes to become a good leader and for, to make the whole team work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that being a good team member and being someone that's that supportive role really gives you a lot of insight to maybe what your employees and your team members are struggling with that maybe as a leader you may have not noticed.
Right.
So I do think it was beneficial, but I also feel like it was also a crutch, because sometimes I feel like I can be a little bit lenient, but it's because I do want to come from a place that's empathetic and a role of, leadership that is compassionate versus someone that just wants to dictate and doesn't understand where people are coming from.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
And so you opened this dental clinic about in December of 2020, right? So
Yes.
you're going to go into your 4th year now, right? So 2024, I guess 3rd. You reopened at
We
the
just
end of
finished,
December.
we just finished our 3rd
Your
year, yeah.
3rd year. So what has been the biggest lesson for you just running this clinic and as being professional dentists?
I really think go with your gut feeling about things when you know that some things are a problem, and you know that, especially I think that problem with employees that you might have, take the time to talk with them, but go with your gut feeling rather than waiting. I feel like a lot of the mistakes I made have been because I was concerned with maybe hurting somebody's feelings, but at the end of the day, I have to realize I am the boss. I do have the right to address it, and I should feel comfortable to talk to my team about that. And so I think a lot of times I would try to be just kind and nice to everybody, but I realized that a team doesn't just want someone that's kind and nice. They want leadership. They want someone to direct and lead the team to success. And sometimes that's not always, hey, I need to be nice and your friend.
Yeah.
I'm your employer. I'm your boss.
Yeah.
And so I really needed to learn how to step up and, take care of things with confidence.
Yeah, for sure. And, it's just really interesting because or as a dentist, you're running this team, and then you're thinking, okay, this is already full-time, 24/7. You're thinking
Yes.
about this business. Now there's this second business that comes into play, which I think there's a really interesting story, kind of
Yes.
a backstory of why you opened this particular type of business, which is completely different
Yes.
from dentistry. So tell us about that.
So actually, when I did move here in 2018 and started working for my colleague, who is actually a partial business owner with me at my dental practice, but he just did not like when nails looked undone.
So he's another dentist who's a
Yes.
guy, but he
Yes.
really has this thing about nails.
Yes.
Okay, and why is that? Is it just because it's part of being that professional look
I
of being a
think so.
dental office?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. I really think that certain people have certain things that they don't like, but I think it's more, he finds it distracting. So I think that if you're going to create an environment and a team environment, it's like, hey, this might be a little weird, but,
It's a small thing, but it's a big thing for him.
Yes.
So it stuck with you.
Yes.
And
it
then
did.
what happens?
Well, so I started getting my nails done, started being consistent about it. And, I was like, wow, he's really listening to me now because he's not staring at my cuticles that are so dry, So I really started taking care of myself. But I also realized that how he explained it to me, too, was that taking care of yourself will allow you to take care of everyone else as well.
I like
and
that.
so I think maybe when I was first starting out, because when you're in dental school, your hands are in lab material, stone, so
Yeah.
the cuticles were looking very rough.
Right, and
so
that's not your priority, right?
it was not.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think that also spoke volumes of I need to start taking care of myself. But it really stuck with me. And what I found was that these service providers that work in hair and nails, they can be a very therapeutic session when that they're not related to you. They're here to make you feel good about yourself, look good.
Yeah.
And I found that, wow, dentistry is so stressful. I love that this combines art and like a therapy session. And I really valued that person that was, helping me out, and I could
Yeah.
really vent to them. So
So
the
this
industry is
leads you
amazing.
into thinking about, as you're running your clinic, that, okay, another business, which is Nailed It Beauty Spa. And this is a nail salon. So
Yes.
you decided, you know what, I'm just going to open one that's going to be feeding this need for maybe a lot of people working in dentistry too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, my nail tech at the time, I was going to her, and I had only opened my business in December 2020, but I was going to her and I was seeing her salon, and I could see that the struggles she was having, because one of the great things about working in the field in dentistry, especially if you have somebody that's able to coach you through owning a business, I could definitely see that she had no coaching. It was very hard for her. Her business was struggling. She had a storefront. And I'm just thinking, you know what? I feel like I could help here. And I love what she does. And actually, dentistry and nails, there's they use a lot of the same tools at times.
Really interesting.
Yeah, actually, some dentists actually help actually create some of the products that are used in nail salons even to today.
Wow.
So it has its relations, but definitely I felt like at the time I was like, I can maybe help this person. I feel like I could maybe be a part of this. Maybe I could start a second business. I know.
Wow.
But that was,
that entrepreneurship bug just kind of bit, and you're like, okay, I can do this. I can do another one. Yeah. So it's Nailed It Beauty Spa, which opened just earlier this year, February of 2023.
Yes.
And you opened that with your partner, who's now your fiance.
Yes.
Right. So you opened this together. And how is that, just starting the business and trying to get this off the ground while you're running another dental clinic?
Very challenging. In the beginning, we actually obtained the salon in a state where I felt like it was not very welcoming and inviting, just because the decor was a little bit off-putting. It was very plain. So I am very picky about certain things. So at the end of the day, we really just did not want to open up until we got the inside up to par. So I would go to work for 8 to 10 hours a day, and then I would go to the salon and I would start painting the wall and figuring out what to do, because it is such a small space.
And we got some pictures, I think, with the salon. I think this is prior to your renovation, because you renovated that space later, right? But when you went in initially, was it a nail salon before? Was it an empty space?
It was a nail salon. It had like white and gray walls. Yes, there it is. With that tile floor. So it was just very kind of cold looking, which I feel like could work in maybe a dental office. But I feel like nail salons, the type of experience she would give me when she talked to me was, hey, it's therapeutic. I want to relax. But I would tell her all the time, I don't feel like this environment is relaxing, though. It just wasn't the vibe that I was wanting to have that she gave me, because her energy was amazing, So definitely didn't want to open up until we made it more inviting and more of a place where I feel like we could have more employees.
And we're showing another picture here. Is this after the renovation?
This is immediate post-renovation. It has a little changes to it now, but this is...
just adding a little more warmth to it, right?
Absolutely.
Because I think that's really interesting. You bring up, like, dental office, you expect like a medical environment. It is supposed to be a little cold, right? It's supposed to be like, I mean, in some ways, the decor. But when you come to something where you feel like you're getting treated and pampered and relaxed, you need a different kind of environment.
Absolutely. I just feel like the dental office is more of like a serious environment. It's health related.
Right.
And then... your provider should be the main focus and the patient, So I feel like they try to take distraction away from the surroundings, but I feel like when you're getting your hair done or your nails done or getting some esthetician work done, you want the place to look inviting and a place that you can relax and actually unwind.
And you know what I notice about Vegas, and I guess many other cities, but Vegas especially, there are nail salons everywhere.
Yes.
I mean, it's crazy. So did you think about that when you were opening? It's like, how do we stand out from the competition running a nail salon?
Absolutely. We actually have a nail salon directly across from us and further down the plaza as well. So I did kind of do my research. I try to go to different nail salons, look at their menus, and also kind of look at what products they carry. So one thing that sets us apart and makes us unique is that we definitely focus on products that are quality, like Valentino, like V Beauty Pure, and we have the entire line. And also we try to bring in products from Korea, Japan, and also we do some like wholesaling. We try to look at different things that can upgrade our salon, but something that is different from other salons here.
Yeah. And I think that, and now you've done it, you bring in the quality, good staff. It's just making yourself stand out, right? And I think a lot of entrepreneurs out there, whatever business they're in, like, how do we we're doing the different things and the good things, but getting the word out there, that's always the challenge too.
Absolutely. I feel like we do some B2B where we'll drop off, flyers, coupons, and I'll also at my dental office, I try to get my patients in there because I know once they meet the girls who are amazing at what they do, they're going to want to stay, they're going to feel good about themselves. And I really try to promote them in whatever way possible, try to pass out cards at gyms, whatever we can do. Instagram. So it has taken work, but I think that, like I said, once they see our nail technicians who are very skilled, I think they'll want to stay because I find it a stress relieving place. And I really found that taking care of myself made a difference on how I take care of my patients, how I treat my team and my staff. That saying where they say you can't really help other people if you yourself are not taken care of. I really take that to heart.
And I think being a dentist and medical profession, I mean, that's part of it, right? It's not just about giving the care, but it's about, how you treat patients and how they make you feel. Like you want to go to a dentist where you're like, oh, you get to know them and they become kind of your family in a way.
Yes.
I do feel like, you started, now it's going into just finishing up 3 years at that. I mean, where do you feel you are now as kind of a business owner? And I mean, what do you foresee for yourself kind of moving forward?
Well, I feel like right now I'm in a very positive spot. I just hired a new associate doctor to kind of give me some help because we are growing very rapidly.
That's a good problem, right?
Yes, very good problem. A lot of challenges, but very good problem to have. Just hired 2 new specialists. So I feel like I have a lot of new blood in the practice, and I think that further on, I'm hoping to hire on another associate to kind of vary our hours because I have a lot of requests for appointments on Saturdays and Sundays, but of course I dedicate that to the nail salon, so I try not to have those appointments during that time, but in the foreseeable future, I'd like to add on another doctor and hopefully another hygienist and just keep the practice running and give great care to the community.
What do you think has been the secret? I mean, obviously we have a lot of nail salons, but also a lot of dental offices, you know, but what is it about yours that you think really worked in the 3 years that you've been open?
I really think that focusing on not just the patient's dental care, but really who they are as a person. I've had very high retention of patients. Even my patients that I saw at the prior practice before have traveled to come and see me regardless of whether I was contracted with their insurance or not. And so it's kind of, it goes back to the saying that, you know, when you get to know a person that is giving you a service or any of that, it really sticks with that.
It's that word of mouth. They refer their friends and family, right, to come to you as well. That makes a difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And promoting a dental office, I'm sure, is very different than nail salon. But are there different, I mean, maybe there are people, you know, dentists right now, dental assistants, people working in that field, thinking of opening their own clinic. Do you have any tips for people who are in that field? What would make it successful?
I think that having a good business plan drawn out before is very important. But I also believe that starting a business with someone you trust, someone that you can confide in is very important. I'm very lucky to have Ben because he's my fiance, but also he has his own business as well. And so he's had experience with that, which before I didn't have much of because most of the time I was a supporting role. But I think that it's important to have people around you that you trust.
Yeah, for sure. And how has Vegas been as a work market? Because you said you're from Nebraska, right?
I'm actually originally from Kansas, but I did go to dental school in Nebraska.
In Nebraska. But Las Vegas is home now, and you've been here for a while.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is this, like, I mean, a lot of people say this is probably, you know, one of the best places, they say, to start a business. Has that been true for you?
I feel like it has been one of the best places because it's been a challenge. There's a lot of competition out here, and it's starting to become a bit saturated. But I feel like if you can survive a market like this and thrive, you can survive anywhere. I really believe this.
Yeah, yeah. And they say social media, a lot of time, that is the key to kind of getting the word out. Has that worked for you when it comes to social media and using that to attract new clients or just to get the word out there?
I definitely feel like it's worked for the nail salon. I feel like because I did have a starting patient basis for my dental office, I do find that maybe B2B was better for the dental office. But I do think that digital marketing is probably the best because, you know, you don't have to physically walk around. And I feel like it also, the spread of it is even better. You know? So I do want for the dental office to expand in that as well. But for the nail salon, most definitely we've seen that digital marketing is the most effective.
Yeah. And, you know, let's talk a little bit about you, too, because of your background. Have you always wanted to go into dentistry? Was that your dream growing up?
Actually, I want to be a veterinarian.
Oh, that changed a little bit.
It most definitely did. I did actually work as a vet tech assistant at like a shelter, but it was just too emotional for me. I'm a very emotional person. So animals, they cannot communicate with you what's going on. So unfortunately at shelters, a lot of animals are put down. But you know, if you are the veterinarian, you're the doctor, you have to be able to explain to your team to support that decision because at the end of the day, it's volume basis. It is hard. So you have to really think about those things. But Dentistry, I actually started working at my dentist's office, just a shadow to kind of know what I wanted to do. But what I loved about the dentist was, and it's the same thing that I love about going to the nail salon, is that you are seeing a familiar face. You see them frequently.
Yeah.
They are helping you out with something that maybe is either ailing you with pain, or they're helping you out with, talking through something going on in your life. And I feel that was true for my dentist and my nail tech. So, yeah. So I think those are definitely how they relate for me.
Yeah. And as a, not just a woman business owner, minority business owner, we always say there are, challenges we go through. But do you feel like there's been things that have been harder for you, maybe easier for you as a female business owner? What's your take on that?
Definitely harder, I would say. I find that, especially in the field of dentistry, it's definitely male dominated. I feel like it's
especially as owners of dental offices,
yes,
right? Yeah,
absolutely. So I did find in the beginning respect from my patients, especially since I'm young, was very hard to obtain because they would doubt my skill.
Yeah.
But I do feel that it doesn't matter whether you're a day out of school or whether you've been in it for 10 years. It really comes from a sense of passion. Are you passionate about it? And I really feel that my patients feel, regardless of how young I look, that I do take the time to explain things to them. I'm passionate about what I'm doing, and I care about their long-term health.
Yeah.
And I feel like at the end of the day, I feel like they can read that. So,
yeah.
But I do find it was a little bit challenging in the beginning.
Yeah.
To find that confidence,
So how did you kind of get over that? Obviously, just plugging away and just, letting your work speaks for itself, right?
I had to make mistakes. Definitely, I had to make mistakes. And it wasn't so much mistakes in the clinical work I was doing. It was mistakes in how I communicated with people.
Talk to us about that.
So I feel like in the beginning, I doubted myself, like, I feel like this person is not believing me because I look young. I felt all those things about myself before they even said anything. So what I think is, you should not ever have assumptions about anything.
Yeah.
You should walk in and say, hey, I know I am good at this. I know that I will put out amazing work, and this person will believe it because I will show them.
Yeah.
Without saying, I'm going to doubt myself.
Yeah. No, that's great. And I know you have some team pictures from both of your dental office and also your nail salon. I know there's a lot of women. So, I mean, is that big? What you believe into is getting a lot of other women kind of the role that they deserve.
Absolutely. I do have, I have a variety. I feel like in my office I have more women for sure because I feel like dental assisting is definitely more of a female-dominated area. But I definitely have a variety of team members of different ages and everything. But I would definitely say that
has it been inspiring for them, especially, both in the nail salon and in the to see you and just say, hey, I can do this, and if this is something that you want to aspire to one day, it's possible.
Absolutely. Like for my dental assistants, I let them know, hey, you don't have to be a dentist, but I do recommend going to hygiene school because I do tell them, dental assisting is an amazing job because it's going to teach you a lot about the field, but it is kind of that starting end job unless you want to be the lead. But if you want to succeed and go further, I would recommend going back to school.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you see now, as we're wrapping up this interview? Talk to us about, just looking forward. I mean, is it important? How important is it to just kind of keep reaching new goals and making new, even if you've said, okay, we're in a sweet spot now with both our businesses, but just kind of, what keeps you going? I guess the motivation of any business owner, but for you, what keeps you going?
I think what keeps me going is definitely just knowing that I can always achieve more. I can see that there isn't really an end goal in terms of how much you can succeed. And I do want to get to a spot where I don't have to be as involved, but still oversee the business and maybe expand. But I think what keeps me going is just knowing that, honestly, the employees do. My employees keep me going because a lot of these women, especially in the nail salon, they can be single moms. They could just be the primary caregiver in their family, but they want to do something that they love. And they don't want to do a job that they go into it, they can't be creative, they don't love what they do. And they might even know that this job might not pay as much as other jobs, but they love it. And so for me, that gives me a lot of passion to keep pushing forward and ensure that the business is successful so these women can do the things that they love. I think that that is very, very important to me.
Yeah. So the Horizon Ridge Modern Dentistry and Nailed It Beauty Spa, and both of these are very close to each other, right?
Yes.
Off of Eastern.
Yes.
Yeah. So if people want to find you, where can they get more information about both your businesses?
They can either search on Google, Nailed It Beauty Spa. They can also follow our Instagram at Nailed It Vegas. And for my dental office, they can always look me up at Horizon Ridge Modern Dentistry. And they can always call my office as well.
And that's what's great. And you were telling me earlier, I mean, this is a comprehensive dental care office. I mean, people
Yes.
looking for anything, they can one-stop shop, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everything from ortho, root canals, perio.
And for people with anxiety, you actually help with that as well.
Yes, we do offer sedation dentistry. Of course, it takes consultation and everything, but we do offer that as an option.
That's awesome. And Nailed It. Don't need anxiety for that. Just go and relax, right?
Yes, the absolute opposite.
Yeah.
Go relax, enjoy yourself, get a beautiful set.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to you, Mandy. You've done great, and keep going, and best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for watching this episode of Entrepreneur Showcase Series. We'll see you again next time.